Okay, Brexit, so I don't know what to say. I was shocked when I heard about it and completely did not understand why anyone would vote for Brexit, but it happened and I'm not happy and it doesn't matter. So I thought just go ahead and look up what changes, especially for travelers from Britain to go anywhere in the world, because you still can go to the EU, but how? And that is a big question. And so I googled and did a little research and I came up with a couple of things that changed for you, and I wanted to tell you about it so you don't have to do all the research yourself. Number one, the visa. You might have to apply for a visa. There is still negotiating going on. In the next 2 years there might not be any changes whatsoever, but it is not that likely to actually entail visa applications for you because the EU still wants visitors and the UK as well, so it might be easy and you just have to show your passport as you usually do when you travel with the train or with a ferry, so maybe not much changes. Number two, budget airlines might not be budget after all if you're traveling from the EU, because they have to adjust and renegotiate the prices, which is still undetermined of course. But the taxes will definitely change, because right now if you're traveling from a EU country you have to pay taxes. In the future, if you're traveling from the UK, you might not have to pay anything if you're traveling within the country, so that might be a bonus for people in the UK. Number three, delayed flights and customer protection, because right now the EU has a lot of laws to protect the customers if there are delayed flights, provide compensation, maybe a hotel room and food, and also if you want to travel with a hotel package. It is currently protected by EU legislation from 1992, and in 2018 there will be another one to protect European citizens from any fraud or if the company is going bankrupt. So the UK has to come up with another law that will cover that. Number four, travel insurance. Right now you can travel with the EU insurance and you don't have to have travel insurance. You should maybe, because then it covers all of your costs, but right now you're pretty much secure if you're a EU citizen traveling countries, but might be there are negotiations which will still allow it. Who knows? Number five, customs and duty free. Right now there's a lot of British people who like to tap into the law that you can just carry 800 cigarettes, 110 liters of beer and 80 liters of wine. If you're coming from a hen or stag do, you might not bring all the cheap wine from France with you and the cigarettes from Poland, so that might be reduced to the amount that Americans have been allowed to carry into UK. Number six, roaming. Right now the EU wants to get rid of all the roaming costs in the coming years, which is awesome and I love it, but if you're leaving like that person, then you cannot have that. So maybe the lobby is strengthening that and tapping into it to get rid of it for you, but maybe not, and so you have to pay roaming. And like I did in January when I went to the Caribbean, I suddenly had a bill of over 100 euros because I had to take calls, and that was costly. Number seven is to work and study abroad. Right now it's really easy to just cross the countries and work and study abroad. There is the Erasmus system where you can have travel exchanges like I did. I studied in England, I worked in Sweden, and was really not much hassle to it, just a little bit of red tape. But right now, if you are a UK citizen, you might not be able to actually study abroad, and people from the EU might not be able to easily study in England, especially not through the Erasmus system, which was awesome. So that is really regrettable. Number eight might not make that much of a difference to you, but generally the EU had a lot of regulations on beaches and water safety, so the UK has to change their laws to maybe comply with those, or they just don't care at all. Number eight is good for companies from the EU, because British people, they love traveling as much as we Germans do, and especially in warmer countries such as Mallorca, there's always a shortage of beds. So right now there might be a good niche to get into, because now that the British people maybe not be able to afford that much traveling abroad, they have lots more beds available, so tourist companies can claim those beds to fill them up and to take advantage of it. Number nine, also if you're traveling and renting a car, fuel prices might change a lot, and also the renting agreements might change, because right now if you're renting a car in one EU country, that means that you can also have a slight coverage in another EU country if you're traveling through the EU, so this is really good. But if you're a UK citizen, of course you cannot have that, so maybe the rental car companies will tap into that and provide different contracts for you, maybe special package deals, which are maybe a bit more pricey than the EU citizen ones. And last but not least, retirement and vacation homes. If you are living abroad and if you want to spend the last of your days in a nice sunny island in Spain, maybe you could maybe be sent back in the future. They're still negotiating and maybe that's not going to happen at all, but it might be more difficult now to get vacation homes abroad in the EU, and maybe you have to look for the UK to get a nice cozy cottage. So these were all the points I found out in my research that will affect UK travel to the EU and otherwise, so you might want to look into that, but as of now we don't really know anything much because everything is kind of in limbo and people are trying to get into that in the next 2 years and hopefully nothing much will change, but we'll see how politicians will handle it. But right now, take the chance and go travel.